Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Niall Lynn, and obviously I have no makeup on because this is a COVID coronavirus video and check-in. And I wish I wasn't making this video, but I thought it was important to make it because I am in New York City. I do have symptoms. My husband had symptoms, and we have a doctor's appointment coming up. We're not sure whether we have it or not. We have not been tested yet, but I wanted to tell you what I'm doing to try to help myself feel better at home. And this is not medical advice. This is my own personal experience. I wanted to share it with you because as soon as I was having symptoms, I was feeling a lot of anxiety, and I watched other people's videos who are going through this, and it actually made me feel better. So I'm hoping that this will make you feel better and give you some sort of mental and emotional relief from the stress of not feeling alone if you're having symptoms. Of course, the first thing you should do is call your doctor if you're having symptoms and make an appointment. The appointments are online, they're virtual, so we have an appointment coming up with our doctor online. And if you're having an emergency situation, of course, you should call 911. And nothing in this video is medical advice. I am not a medical professional. I'm actually a professional creative person that lives in New York City, who does multiple creative jobs, including acting and filmmaking and all that stuff. So medical is not my area of expertise at all. So this is not an advice video. It is an experience video, and I'm going to share my experience about what is happening living through this time of this global pandemic here in New York City and having some COVID symptoms. So this is what happened. I was feeling fine. I was feeling great. I was upping my vitamin C. I was taking everything that I should. I all of a sudden added all my supplements back in, and then my husband got sick. Now, we live in a small New York City apartment. It's a railroader, which is kind of like just a bigger version of a studio apartment. So there's no way to avoid him, and there was no way not to get sick. His symptoms were extreme, and they hit him, he says, like a truck, like a ton of bricks. And he's not one to get sick ever. I'm the one that usually gets sick with respiratory problems. I have had pneumonia as a child and as an adult, as well as bronchitis multiple times. Like, I usually get sick once a year with some sort of respiratory thing. So we were more worried about me, and then he got sick. He's more organized than I am, but I'm more neurotically clean. So I'm the person that like always used this hand sanitizer anyway. Like, I have it on my keychain. I have it on my dog leash. I have like hand sanitizer all over the place. I clean my makeup brushes with Clorox and Lysol wipes. So we were more concerned about me, but I'm also more of like a neurotically clean person. He's super organized. I mean, he's clean, but not like crazy like I am. And so he got sick. He had body aches. He had sweats. He had a temperature. He had stuffed up. The body aches were really weird for him. Extreme headache. Like, he just said he felt like he got run over by a truck. He was getting winded, walking up the steps. We live in a walk-up. And then he needed to sleep a lot. So he was really sick for like 3 to 4 days. And when he was sick, I was fine. Although from the very beginning, I've actually been wearing a mask and gloves because as soon as I heard about this and that it was respiratory, I was like, oh, I better be really careful because I've had this history of these respiratory things. And so when he was sick, I was taking care of him and making him drink tea. He hates tea. I was making him drink and eat all this healthy stuff that he doesn't normally eat or drink. He's sort of like a meat and cheese kind of, pizza eating guy who doesn't eat super healthy. And so I was like trying to make him eat healthier and up his vitamin C and all this stuff. Then after thank goodness we're both been sort of sick since then, but thank goodness I wasn't as sick as he was when he was first going through it because he needed me to take care of him. Then I started feeling sick, and he started feeling better, and he's been feeling progressively better, although he still does get winded. And then I was feeling really awful, and the same thing, like really tired. Like, there was a couple days where both of us were like, okay, we're sleeping today, we're not doing anything. And that's never happened. Like, we've been married for almost 10 years, and we've never both been like, okay, we're gonna sleep all day in bed sick. Like, we've never been that sick together. And I've been sick, you know, like I have this history of having bronchitis and all this stuff. So that's our history as well as our current symptoms. I'm still stuffy. I've had tightness and, you know, tightness in my chest. Some of it I think is sort of anxiety provoked by the fact that if I was sick at any other time with a bronchial infection, I wouldn't be this anxious. But because I have all of this respiratory stuff during this global pandemic where everybody has COVID and is dying, it makes it more anxiety provoking. So I do feel like some of my symptoms have been made worse by the anxiety around it. So I want to show you what I've been taking. Of course, I've been drinking a lot more hot tea with lemon and honey. I normally like it with milk, but I've been doing lemon and honey because that's better for, you know, when you're sick. I've been taking hot showers that with steam, like keeping the door and the window closed to steam everything out of me. I've been taking Epsom salt baths. Again, super hot, which I wouldn't normally do it that hot. I have also been taking all these supplements. Now, I was taking a beauty supplement, which you know if you watch my channel. So I was taking this, and in the past I have taken Shakeology as a supplement, which is a shake that has like a million things in it. And I like that because it's all in one and it's easy. But I have been out of Shakeology for a while. And then I was taking this beauty supplement and sort of just focusing on what were the results of this, so then I wasn't taking other supplements. And I wasn't taking the Shakeology because I wanted to see what that did. Because my main channel focus, although of course I created my YouTube originally just to post my acting reels and stuff, my main channel focus has ended up being like beauty and makeup and stuff like that. Because, you know, I'm an actor, so I'm always on camera, so I'm always putting stuff on my face and always trying to stay youthful. So just so that you know that this is, I haven't ever stopped taking this. I just kept taking that, but I added all this stuff in. And this is, there's other videos about this, but this is not a health supplement, but I just wanted to let you know that this was part of what I was already taking. This is a beauty supplement for your skin. So what I added to that is, I added this, and I already had this because of my history of lung stuff. And so this is a supplement called Lung, Bronchial, and Sinus Health that I got from the health foods supply store. It's a respiratory health, and it's all natural. And again, this is not medical advice. It has certain things that I can't pronounce, but it also has bromelain, which is like a pineapple stems, and it has marshmallow extract, and it has mullein extract, and it has wild cherry extract, and it has horehound extract, and it has ivy extract. And here are, hopefully you could freeze frame that if you needed to. And this stuff's expensive. It's $30, but I'm sure glad I have it right now. And I got this at the Westerly health food place in Midtown Manhattan. The first thing I did, of course, before I even remembered that I had that, was I upped my vitamin C. And I was taking the vitamin C and feeling good until my husband got sick. And I was taking, I had the gummies, and when I was eating the gummies, I was feeling great. I ran out of the gummies. I have these packets. And this is not just vitamin C. It's vitamin C. It has zinc and everything else, and it has 1,000 milligrams. And you put it in water, and it makes it fizzy, and it's actually very tasty. So that's from Airborne. I had the gummies, which is the Airborne jar of gummy vitamins, and I ate those like they were candy, which is you're not supposed to do that, but I was like, whatever. There's a COVID virus. People are dying, so I ate them like they were gummy bears. So those are all gone. I also have this, and this also has other things besides just vitamin C. So it has zinc in it, which is really important too. And the other thing that I just added back in my supplements. You know, I was like, okay, let me add back in my supplements that I used to take. This is resveratrol. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. And this is for cardiac health, cardiac function. So I was like, hey, you know, people, what they're dying of is like lung and cardiac stuff, cardiac arrest. When they go into emergency with COVID, their lungs are clapping and they're going into cardiac arrest. So I was like, let me add that back in. The other things that I have that I added back in was ubiquinol Q10, and this is for cardiovascular, cellular health, and energy. And I also added back in some folic acid, as well as a multivitamin, like a Symptom multivitamin that has everything in it, like your daily vitamin. Nothing fancy. That one's in the kitchen. But that's a Symptom, like adult multivitamin. I also have this, this promotes heart and cognitive function. And what else did I add back in? Oh, this Vitex, this is a hormonal thing for women. So you probably don't need this if you're a guy. But I just added that back in because, you know, it helps balance your hormones and stuff like that. And I figured since I was adding everything else back in. What else do I have here? Oh, that was that dermal repair complex. That's about it. That's about it of what I added in. The things that I've been taking over the counter is Dayquil and NyQuil. I've used all the NyQuil up because when it was more extreme, and we're both having body aches, we used the NyQuil up really fast. And the Dayquil, I've actually been taking it very limited and just taking like a half a pack a lot of times. Like you can see, I have a half a one already out. So that's my other half. And I have actually taken the Dayquil at night because I ran out of the NyQuil at night when I felt like I couldn't breathe. Because, you know, it helps. It does help with headache, fever, sore throat, minor aches and pains, nasal congestion, and a cough. So, I mean, and that's one of the reasons why I took one instead of two, because I'm not sure I'm not sure if you're supposed to take, like, if it would keep me up. It didn't. I was so tired. You know, and it has acetaminophen. So I'm not sure about whether you're supposed to take this or not, but that's what I had, and I was having the symptoms that it addresses. And I also had just lozenges, and these are cough suppressant lozenges, and they were just generic lozenges that were cough suppressant lozenges. Sorry, I don't have the box anymore, but it was a cough suppressant for sore throat lozenges, and there's one left. And then drinking teas. These are all the teas I have. I mean, I have a ton more, but just, you know, if you're looking for teas. This is my favorite one, jasmine green tea. The regular green tea I have, but it's very strong, so I prefer jasmine green tea. I have lots of teas. I'm a coffee drinker on a regular basis, but when I feel sick, I do drink tea. And then I have just regular green tea. I prefer the jasmine because it's less strong, but I've been drinking the green tea because it is good for you. Chamomile. Like, I like stuff like this, green tea with blueberry that, you know, doesn't make it taste as strong. And then peppermint is one of my favorite. I have like peach detox, other detox teas. So I've been drinking those with honey and lemon. We have been staying inside as much as possible. I had already gotten all of the groceries for like 2 weeks. We didn't really need to leave the house. We do have to take our dog out once a day. I do that in a mask and gloves. And on days where we could both function, we did that together because it's just safer to walk together. It's really weird in New York right now. It's like the only people that are out are up to no good, or they're running errands. The people that are running errands don't bother me, but it's weird to be in New York City out by yourself when, you know, people aren't supposed to really be out. So what are they doing out there? So we do, when we only walk the dog once a day now. We do it in mask and gloves. We don't touch anything on our way out. If we do touch something, we sanitize it. Like if we touch the doorknob, we actually sanitize it afterwards with either hand sanitizer, or I carry one of these to wipe even though I have a mask and gloves on, just to be courteous of other people. And we just, go to the park with our dog, stay away from everybody else. We have our mask and gloves on, and we just stay away from everybody. So we don't walk the dog. Normally the dog would get like 4 walks a day. She gets 1 now. She's a little dog, so she can go on a potty pad in the house in the morning, and then she can go, we take her usually for 1 big walk midday when we're feeling okay. And if it's sunny out and we can get, we have to walk her even if it does rain, because she will not poop in the house. She'll only pee in the house. So, but if it's awful out, we're sick, we don't want to get sicker, so we just then try to just take her around the block or whatever. But on the days where it's been sunny, it's also recommended to get vitamin D, so we've been going to the park and just staying away from everybody else, keeping our masks and gloves on, and making sure she gets some exercise. And then the rest of the day she's in the house with us, and we exercise her in the house, and she goes in the potty pad at night. And I don't know how people are dealing with big dogs, because you do have to eventually take them out. What else can I tell you? We have an appointment tomorrow. It's a virtual appointment online to find out what we should do. I'm really grateful that my symptoms aren't worse. It was getting a little scary. I am feeling better, but it is also really anxiety provoking, because you hear about people feeling better and then they go into the hospital the next day. So, even though I was starting to feel better, I'm not canceling the doctor's appointment because I want medical advice from a professional doctor. And I'm actually not one to go to the doctor. I am the kind of person who I can, most of the time, literally be coughing up a lung, and I'll finally be like, okay, I'll take a Tylenol. I don't normally even get stuff like this. But when all this was coming, and I was starting to get aware of that it could be very serious, as soon as I heard it was like that so many people were dying in other countries, I was like, you know what, I'm going to get all the stuff I would never take. And I'm so glad that I did that, because then we had it all and we could stay home and we didn't have to go to the store and get it. And, we'll order more online and have it delivered or whatever to avoid going to the store. That's about it. We've been resting a lot. We've been taking Tylenol, and just Tylenol, or the Dayquil stuff, NyQuil, Dayquil, but also just the Tylenol packets. My husband did take Benadryl one day because he was feeling like he couldn't breathe, and he thought, well, when at other times in his life where he's had an allergic reaction, so he took like a half a Benadryl. I'm not sure if that's recommended. I'm not sure if any of this is recommended, so please research it. I do know that right now in New York, at New York Presbyterian, they're trying a new treatment with a Z-Pak and a malaria drug. I'm not sure what the malaria drug is called. It starts with an H. But you can look it up. Dr. Oz was talking about it. Look up Dr. Oz on YouTube, and he has like the latest, because that's his hospital here in New York. We are very fortunate in New York, although we are having such an extreme outbreak of this because there's so many people and we're so close physically, so there was no way for it not to spread. We are very fortunate and so grateful. The medical professionals in New York City are just some of the best in the world. It's heartbreaking to see what they're going through, and we're just praying for them every single day. And we hope and pray that you're well. And, we had all these goals before this happened of things we wanted to accomplish this year. And, we lost all of our income. All of our jobs were canceled. We have no income. We haven't been able to get through to the filing for unemployment. Like, we try and then it collapses, and we try and it collapses. And it's scary not having any money, like, coming. Thank goodness we had, like, a savings for emergency and everything, and that we have really supportive families, so we're not going to be left with nothing. I can't imagine people that are in a worse situation, but it is really nerve-wracking going from two people who worked all the time, worked our side jobs, our day jobs, our creative, like I'm a dog walker. My husband helps me walk the dogs. He's a video editor. We do shoots and make movies and get paid to do that. Like, we're creative professionals. I get paid to act. None of that. Like, we have zero income. We have zero income. So I was glad that I bought all this health food kind of stuff and supplements prior to that. Although I think that if I hadn't, I probably would have put them on a credit card, because I think health is more important than anything. And now that's our whole goal, is like, how do we live through this? How do we stay alive so we can go home to see my mom for Christmas? Because that's all I can think about. Like, I just want to see my mom. And so please pray for us. And if you're not well, or if you just need prayer in general, put your name below and I'll say a prayer for you. And, you know, we're all in this together as a country, as a world. Everybody's going through this. Stay home as much as possible. When you do go out, I would wear a mask and gloves. I've been doing that from the get-go. To me, it just made sense, because the thing is I was like, wait, in New York City, how am I not going to get this? People are like, we're so close to each other that, you know, and people do gross things in New York. I mean, they spit on the street. People still spit on the street in New York. It blows my mind, you know, and it's usually one, you know, person that does it, but you can't say anything to the person. They're usually a rude person, because polite people don't spit on the street. And so you don't want to engage with them. You know, I wouldn't spit on the street. Nobody I know would spit on the street, you know, so it's usually some random person that you don't know, and you can't confront them, and they're just spitting, you know, they can spit near you sometimes. So from the get-go, I was like, oh, I'm wearing a mask and gloves and covering everything up. I'm wearing a hat and a hoodie and my glasses, and have protection, because if this spreads that fast and people spit on the street, you've got to protect yourself. So I just think that there was no way in New York not to get some of it. And that's sort of proven to be true. I mean, I don't know what I have. I don't know if I hope to God that it's not COVID, you know, but I wanted to share what we're going through in case you're having similar experience, so that you don't feel alone. I hope the doctor is like, no, you have upper respiratory or allergies. Oh, that would be great. That would be so great. If he was like, no, it's seasonal allergies, I'd be like, thank you, Jesus. You know, because it's scary to think that that what we have is something that's deadly. It's really scary to think that. So I hope you're well. And if you're watching this, I'm guessing that you're watching it because you are having symptoms too. And I want you to call your doctor and make an appointment, because this is the time to do that. And none of my advice is advice. It's not advice, it's experience. I'm not a medical professional. And if you're having trouble breathing and it's an emergency situation, call 911 right away. And, you know, God willing, we all get through this, and I'll be able to go back to making silly, fun videos about skincare. And I hope that's where we're at sooner rather than later. So thanks for tuning in. This is Niall Lynn. Stay healthy. I love you.